Tampa football. And your home for the Crimson Tide Sports Network is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome to the Morning Blitz with John Abraham, Captain Cool, and the Bandiman Bailey Lowery. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Captain Cool.
Hello and welcome in, everybody, to a fun Friday here in No Man's Land. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman Bailey Lowery.
Hey,
how's it going, Bandy? You watched that Chicago Bears game last night?
Yeah, I did. I was I was surprised, to say the least.
Yeah, I had to watch it in an interesting way because I wasn't going to go out of my way to actually try and watch the entire game. I was actually going on my free TV on the smart TV I got. It's a very interesting world over there, and I'll talk more about that one later. But we got some college football games to talk about. You guys will be able to join into the conversation later on in the show because we will have two of some of the smartest guys whenever it comes to either college and or NFL football. But let's kind of talk with one Mr. Drew DeArmond from Talking Ball. Drew, how are you doing, man?
Good, John. Good to be with you and Bailey. It's an interesting slate in the SEC this weekend. Some big games, some games that are going to be forking the road for teams like Kentucky and Georgia to decide maybe who the top dog is in the SEC East, at least for now. And then same way with the West, with Alabama traveling to College Station. So those races are going to begin to take shape, and we're going to find out if Missouri's a fraud or if they're the real deal, because LSU, who is coming off one of the more putrid defensive performances in the history of the SEC, their offense was still outstanding. We're going to find out truly if Missouri is the real deal. Missouri did beat a very solid K-State team at home in week 2, but otherwise, last week they let Vandy kind of hang around.
Yeah.
Of course, they were probably a little flat, but it was 38-21. And I will say this: Cook, he's set the SEC record for consecutive passes. I think he's at 348 now without an interception.
Sheesh.
He hasn't turned it over, and Brady Cook was actually fighting for his job going into this year with Sam Horn. So he's really stepped it up. Luther Burden's living up to his 5-star status as a recruit from a couple of years back because he had a really good freshman year, but he's really turned into one of the best players in the SEC. They have an underrated running attack, but again, LSU is capable of dropping 50 on you. Jaden Daniels, even with the couple losses they have unfortunately had happened to them with Ole Miss on the road and then in Orlando against FSU. I still think he's played as well as any quarterback in the SEC. And I'll be honest with you, I said this on Talking Ball this morning. I was looking at the spread. I think it's about 4.5 right now. I would lay the points. LSU's going to maul Missouri. I think Mizzou's a good team, but they haven't played anybody like LSU. And if LSU has any competitive character after that abomination that they put on the field defensively, Matt House is probably coaching for his job. And so I expect a 45-24 ass whipping for LSU to put on Missouri. And I think Mizzou is a nice story. I think they'll go to a bowl game, but I think their days of being a contender are over.
Yeah, and if you guys are on the other side of that competition right there, you're going for Mizzou, you can jump in on the stupid underdog picks and tell us, because it'll give you obviously the 4 points towards that team. But let's kind of look at this Alabama-Texas A&M team game right now. Seeing that the line has gone down, the spread has gone down so much in the last week. It's kind of crazy. But just tell us what the experts are thinking with this one.
Well, I mean, when it came out on Sunday in a couple of places, I think it was 7.5, but that didn't last very long. By Monday, I think it was 3.5, and it's gone down since then. It was 2.5 Wednesday, and I think in the last 48 hours or so, it's gone down another 1.5. It's down to 1 point. It was down to 1.5 yesterday. It was down to 1 this morning. There's been a lot of rumors going around about Jalen Milroe because of a supposed hamstring injury. And I mean, I checked on that. The people that I trust that I would know have told me he was 100% in practice all week. I don't really think that's a factor. I mean, if it is, it would be huge because, I think it would definitely swing the pendulum to A&M because Ty Simpson's never started a road game in his life, or in an SEC game for that matter. He would certainly be the quarterback. But I will say, if there was a definitive hamstring injury, I think that the spread would swing even further. I think it would already have swung to Alabama being a 3 to 4 point underdog and being a significant one, which would be a significant one with 3 or 4 points, with the way it would have gone from 7.5 to a favorite to a 4-point underdog if he were hurt severely. So I didn't see him get hurt in the last game. I don't know if it happened in practice. According to my sources, it did not. So I just think it's an evenly matched game. I think it truly is close to a pick'em game when you talk about College Station and the Aggies having the home field advantage. Milroe only starting one road game in his career, which was last week. He had success. A&M playing well last week in Arlington against the Hogs. We've seen, and we also saw Max Johnson come off the bench and save them in the second half against Auburn at home. So Max is he's not your normal backup. He's a guy that's experienced. He started in 2021 against Alabama and Bryant-Denny at LSU, so he's already been through that. Now, is he a great quarterback? I don't think so. I think Jalen Milroe, if he played his best game, is a better player than Max Johnson, potentially. But see, there's that P word. You got to play up to it. To me, if Alabama's going to win, I picked Alabama 27-24. I'll reiterate. I think you got to see 300 all-purpose yards for Milroe. He's got to throw for 200+ to give them balance. They have to run the ball. He has to be explosive as a runner. One or less turnovers. Don't get touchdowns called back. Keep the penalties to a minimum. Manage the game well. And then I think your defense, your kicking game with Will Reichert, James Burnap, potentially a return from Kool-Aid McKinstry could help you win the game, but you have to keep up. The offense has to do its part. They have to play complementary football because penalties and turnovers could decide this game. And, Alabama potentially defensively can pressure Max Johnson, can hopefully turn him over, but Alabama's going to have to win that plus-minus, and they're going to have to be better in the kicking game. In the past, when I've watched Alabama on the road, when they've taken people systematically out, when you go back to a 2015 Georgia game when there was some doubt going in about them winning in that game, when you saw the Ole Miss game at home just a couple of weeks ago, Alabama made big plays in the kicking game. They blocked a punt. They blocked a punt that I know it set up a bad snap. It ended up being a field goal. Should have been a touchdown, but it still was a momentum swinging play. And then in that 2015 Georgia game, Minkah Fitzpatrick blocked a punt and scored a touchdown. So a play like that in a game that should be this close, going down to in my opinion, the last 4 or 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, I think the kicking game could be a big part of it as well.
Exactly. Now, kind of talk about that Texas A&M defense because they're really good up front in the box, but then in the secondary they've kind of struggled to force interceptions. Just talk about how the turnovers will probably lead to a pretty big outcome in this game.
Well, yeah, I think, as I said, I think the plus-minus will decide it. I think A&M has been suspect on the back end, at least in their only loss. They gave up a lot of yards and points, 48, and a lot of passing yards to Tyler Van Dyke, who made a lot of 30-plus yard explosive plays. Now, the offensive line for Alabama is going to have to play well, and I think they're going to have to approach it with some RPO, change it up a little bit, some zone read to make him have to be accounted for as a runner. Now, some broken plays could happen as well, but I think also they need to use some misdirection, some deception, because that front seven for A&M is outstanding. They come in, I think they only give up about 96 rushing yards per game, so their rush defense has been really good. Alabama's going to have to, I think, hit the 150-yard or so threshold rushing to be effective. So we'll see there. But again, and then maybe have an explosive run. I think explosive plays are going to be really key in this game. Alabama's going to have to create a couple of those. And if they protect Milroe, he's going to have to make a couple of explosive pass plays. He didn't really make any last week. They didn't take a lot of shots against Mississippi State. State tried to keep everything in front of them. But they're going to have to make a few of those plays against A&M. And if Alabama can run the ball effectively, and keep themselves ahead of schedule. In other words, you can't, like Milroe in the first drive last week, they had an 11-yard run from McClellan on the first play from scrimmage, and then the next two plays were sacks and a punt. You can't create negative plays. In other words, those sacks were on him. They gave you time to throw. You got to either realize, take off, try to get 2, 3 yards, 4 yards. Hey, it's a positive play, or just throw it out of bounds, man.
Yeah.
Make sure you're out when you get outside the pocket. If they've done a good job hemming you in, there's nowhere to go, throw it away. Live to fight another down. Because this offense for Alabama is going to be much more difficult, especially against A&M's pass rush when you have 20 sacks. If you're in a lot of 2nd and 13s, 3rd and 14s, it's going to set up disaster and a chance to turn the ball over if you're behind schedule. So, success on 1st and 2nd down is going to be big for Alabama.
Exactly. And that big stat really that we looked at yesterday was the 20 sacks allowed from this offensive line and then the 20 sacks given from the Texas A&M defensive line. But kind of moving over to this Kentucky versus Georgia game, I know talking about it, we've been hyping up Kentucky a little bit, but is a lot of that hype literally just coming from that Florida game where we saw Ray Davis go for 280?
Well, I mean, part of it. I mean, Ray had a great year last year at Vanderbilt and helped them, take some steps forward under Clark Lee. But, yeah, him going for 280 and their offensive line paving the way for over 10 yards per carry, over 300 rushing yards. Yeah, I mean, Ray had a Heisman-type performance, the best performance of his career. So, certainly, if they're going to win in Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia, he's going to have to do the same thing. They're going to have to control the line of scrimmage. Georgia has allowed some rushing yards so far. I don't think this is the great Georgia wall. I don't think it's this type of defense. Mm-hmm. But here's what Kentucky hasn't done. While Ray has been really good, Devin Leary has not. I mean, he was 9 of 20 last week for less than 100 yards. He's going to have his best game in a Kentucky uniform. He's going to have to – I think he was 9 of 20 passing. Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to complete 60+% of your passes. You're going to have to be efficient against Georgia. You're going to have to throw a couple. Now, it's not all his fault. They had some drops like Berrien Brown, who I saw in high school in the Nashville area. Very, very good high school player, one of the best I've ever seen live. He is an outstanding prospect. Big, fast, explosive in the return game, can be explosive as a receiver. But he dropped a touchdown last week. He dropped 2 or 3. You can't drop the ball against Georgia, man. Yeah. This is what they call a money game. This is where all the NFL scouts are watching. You got to make plays. Dane Key's got to make plays. These receivers for Kentucky have to catch the football, have to help Leary out. Kentucky's going to have to run it with Ray. Ray's going to have, I think, 150-plus yards somehow. And then offensively, in the passing game, they got to surpass 200 yards. Mm-hmm. That's not really something they've done a lot of. Leary's turned it over. I think he's got 5 interceptions. He had a couple of near ones against one should have been a pick six against Florida. That cannot happen against Georgia. This would be the biggest win of the Mark Stoops era because this would truly give them a chance. To me, they've never had a realistic shot. Even a few years ago when they got to Georgia undefeated in Lexington and just got whacked. I think that was maybe 2017 or so. Mm-hmm. Again, and even going into that game, I didn't feel like they would win. Now, I think they have a chance Saturday. I think it's about a 25% shot. I still think I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia doesn't cover in this game. I would probably take the points in Kentucky, but still think Georgia's going to win. I would say maybe in the 31 to 20 kind of. I think the spread's 14.5. I just don't see Kentucky with their quarterback play being good enough to go in and beat Georgia. I think Georgia's got the best player on the field still, and in Brock Bowers. I think he should be the leading Heisman candidate. I don't give a damn if he plays tight end or whatever he plays. I just know he's the best player, and I think he wouldn't let them lose against Auburn last week. I certainly don't think he'll let them lose this week. Playing on the road is a different deal for Kentucky. I know they've beat Florida 3 in a row and won a couple times in the Swamp, but I still don't think Stoops has ever beat Georgia. This would be the biggest win of his career, and this would – I did say this earlier on Talking Ball. If Mizzou were to upset LSU and probably get Matt House fired in the middle of the season, and then if Kentucky beat Georgia, even though Oregon and Washington are playing next week, I think game day should be at Missouri and Kentucky. So, honest to God, who would have ever thought they'd be undefeated both at the top of the SEC East at this point in time if it happens? Now, I'm a realist. What I think is going to happen is both of them is going to get the hell beat out of them. Yeah. And I don't think Kentucky will just get absolutely whipped. I think they're going to get beat. I think Mizzou's going to get mauled, and I think these two teams that will solve a lot of angst with ESPN because I think they're already planning to be out there at Oregon and Washington. But again, I just think overall this is great opportunities for Missouri and Kentucky. I'm anxious to see if they can seize it. And then I want to see if Alabama can quell some critics here and go on the road under Nick Saban, which they haven't done in a while. Be assassin-like and just take down a Texas A&M team that's fully capable of winning this game and fully capable with the way things have evolved of being the Western Division champion, which they've never done since they joined the SEC in 2012.
Exactly. Good stuff from Drew DeArmond. We will talk a little bit more about these games later on as well, but we appreciate you hopping on with us, Drew. Good to know what's going to happen in the SEC. It's going to be an interesting slate, but we do need to hop into a break because when we come back, we're going to be hopping on with one Mr. Joe Hunk from 104.5 The Zone in Nashville. So that's what's coming up on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowery of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com for more information.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
back in, everybody, to a fun Friday here in No Man's Land. Welcome to the Morning Blitz. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman, Bailey Lowery. It is a rainy day outside, and it's the first time I feel like I've seen rain in like 2-3 weeks. I feel like it's just been forever, but make sure you guys hop in later on after this segment. You guys will be able to jump in, give us your stupid underdog picks for a chance to win a party of 2 over at Gunners Landing with a cart. It's going to be very nice. We got a lot of games to look at. But to help us talk a little bit more about some of these games and also just figure out what the Tennessee Titans need to do because the Tennessee Vols are obviously on a bye week, is one Mr. Joe Hunk from 104.5 The Zone in Nashville. Joe, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, man. How about you guys?
I'm doing great. I think I know why you're doing well, because you were able to beat the Colts in the Gamer Zone. Is this something that we can expect from the Titans this week too, coming off that big win against the Ravens or the Bengals?
We can if it is something that Madden decides it doesn't want to change anything from what the settings are right now. It'd be absolutely fantastic because what happened is the game likes to update itself, and you guys are gamers. You kind of know this, that, the game updates itself, and as the game updates itself, you kind of have to adjust with the game as things are going along. And the one thing is that in sports games, you have these things called sliders where, to make it more realistic, you adjust the sliders where, let's just say your quarterback can't go 31 of 32 with 6 touchdown passes and becomes like the most accurate quarterback in the history of man.
Yeah.
So what happens is a lot of gamers start to come out, and they come out with what we call realistic sliders. So with the latest update that came out, we got some updated sliders that are a lot more realistic, and boom, I was actually able to play well this past week. So let's hope that it is the beginning of a winning streak, because after losing in overtime last week, I got a dub this week. I'm kind of happy right now.
Yeah, and I got to be happy for you as well. I've been playing. I'm still on Madden 23. I'm in the playoffs with the Browns right now. I just demolished the Chiefs, but those sliders definitely not updating in that older game. But kind of talk about the Tennessee Titans. I mean, they were able to get the better of the Bengals. They just have not been looking good. Well, I mean, first off, just talk about where Tennessee was able to find success in that game as well as where the Bengals are really struggling, because, I mean, it just does not look like the same Bengals team we've seen.
Well, no, and the quote that we got on Monday when we talked to Arden Key was, before the game, we knew that Joe Burrow was a sitting duck.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, those were his exact words to us on Monday when we talked to him on 3HL. And he said, look, he goes, we knew that Joe Burrow couldn't scramble. So we knew that if we were to get close to him, he wasn't going to be able to run out of the pocket. He wasn't going to be able to do some of the things that Joe Burrow normally does. So instead of doing what other teams have been doing, which has been sitting back in the pocket because or sitting back in defense, we attacked because a lot of teams were sitting back on defense because Joe Burrow has the escapability to keep the play going. He gets away from the first tackler, and next thing you know, he could either get a little bit of a gain, or he can keep the play alive so that one of his wide receivers gets open. That Joe Burrow didn't play on Sunday.
Yeah.
And that Joe Burrow may actually not play for the next couple of weeks because he's not healthy right now.
Yeah.
So Titans went with a strategy where they decided to attack, and it benefited them a lot. I mean, you had sacks from a bunch of players, a lot of TFLs, a lot of pressures, and that's the reason why the offense for the Bengals didn't look so good. Look, after that very first series, with working for Titans Radio, I'm the one that puts together all these highlights throughout the game. I didn't put together a single highlight after that first field goal. There was nothing that the Bengals did for the remainder of the game because that's what the Titans did, is they shut down the offense.
Yeah.
But in doing so, the best thing in the world happened in the second quarter. The offense actually started to put together drives, and they put Tajay Spears on the field at the same time with Derrick Henry, which meant that the defense had to be a little bit more honest because they had to pay attention to Tajay as well as Derrick Henry. And so it allowed the offense to open up a little bit more. So, I mean, there was a lot of things that the team did that kind of improved on Sunday.
Exactly. And looking at the Bengals, I mean, with their the way that their offense has been playing, obviously with Joe Burrow being a little shaken up throughout the season, they've really only found success on offense at home. But whenever they're at opponents' places, they only put up 3 points. So total right now, they put up 6 points, and then they're going to Arizona next week or this week to play up against Josh Dobbs. It's going to be an interesting one to say the least. Do you think that the Bengals team's going to be able to maybe do something, or do you think Josh Dobbs and this Cardinals team that's been looking pretty decent is going to be able to take care of this challenge?
Well, the thing about the Cardinals that I question is their ability to get a good pass rush on.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say it is because, you know, with J.J. Watt retiring, you kind of look at the Arizona Cardinals team, and it's not the same team. Like, it's just not the same one. Now, look, the Josh Dobbs factor in this is everybody knows, if you've even covered Josh Dobbs at any point in time, the man is brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay? Like I'm not trying to be funny. Like, he is legitimately brilliant.
I mean, he's like a rocket scientist.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're not trying to be funny with this.
No.
Like, he absolutely is. And so, you know, when it comes to figuring out schemes and calls and that stuff, when it comes to him being a quarterback, he's very intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more about the ability.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, you know, and you kind of saw it last week when they played San Francisco. Even though Josh Dobbs put up a lot of great numbers, you still will go up against a team that can score a lot of points in the 49ers. So I don't know, and I genuinely cannot tell you if I were to actually think that this defense was going to do as well as what the Titans did, because, I mean, is Kazir White, is he going to be the one that's actually going to be able to put on some sort of pressure? I mean, he's got 3 tackles for loss so far this season, but he's got a sack. I mean, I don't think that they have the pressure and the ability to get to Joe Burrow the exact same way the Titans did.
Yeah, or the Browns at the same time. We talk about that week
Oh,
one
God,
matchup.
no. The Browns defense is absolutely amazing.
Thank you for saying that. Tennessee looked pretty good too against the Bengals. Hey, as long as the Bengals lose, I'm gonna be happy. Okay, and that goes for the rest of the AFC North, except for the Cleveland Browns. But kind of moving over to a different Tennessee team. Obviously, the Tennessee Vols are on a bye week, but looking forward in their schedule, they're going up against 2 of the top teams in the West, and we're gonna figure out which one of those teams is the top at the end of this week. Texas A&M is going to be the first challenge, and then they have to go to Bryant-Denny Stadium to face off against Alabama. What do you think right now Josh Heupel is telling his guys to get prepared for these 2 games?
Oh, well, I mean,
Joe? He just vanished. I think Thanos snapped. I hope not. We'll have to do something to get him back. Bandy, he might just come back in a second, but if not,
maybe
we're not allowed to know what Josh Heupel's talking about. Joe, are you still there?
They took him out before he could let us know.
Dang it.
They got to him.
Either way, I mean, Tennessee, if we can try and get him back on, that would be great. But Tennessee, I mean, has been very back and forth so far, okay? Obviously, the Austin Peay game was a little bit of a shake for this team. Then they go on to a Florida team where they're trying to rebound, and then they drop that one 29-16 from an insane run game ETN really put on them. And then on top of that, they go up against the UTSA team. They show really good strength on offense in the first half. Second half, they kind of fall off. South Carolina, they're able to handle them pretty well, I have to say. That defensive line for the Tennessee Vols is stout. They get a little bit of a bye week, okay? So you get a little bit of a break. It could work good. It could work bad for the team, but they're going to be needing all of the rest they can get going up against this Texas A&M team, because right now, you know, according to the experts, it's only a 1-point spread. I don't know where Joe went. Did it hang up? Did he just drop? I don't know. Jeez.
It says he's still on the line, but I'll try to give him a call here.
Yeah, definitely trying to get him back on the call. But while we use this time for Joe not being on, we will tell you guys that you will be able to hop on with your stupid underdog picks. 256-576-4 and 97.7 is the number to call. When we get back from break, after Joe gets back on with us, of course, you'll be able to hop on. And we've already talked with one Mr. Drew DeArmond from Talkin' Ball, presented by Alumni Hall and Mercury Motors. So we've had a lot of fun so far, but the dropping of Joe, it's not something new. Okay, we've definitely dealt with it before, but he should be in office. Joe, are you back with us? Can I just not hear him over here? Or, Bandy, you still setting it up? I might have been a little too fast with it. Take your time, Bandy. Don't worry about it. It's all right. Did we lose him again? No, he's still somewhere. It's the Shadow Realm. The Shadow Realm sucked him up right there. But, I mean, I want to go off to something else, but I don't want to go too far because then I'd have to carry it back into Tennessee Vols. But another game I wanted to look at later on, which we will definitely be talking about, unless Bandy just now got him on. He's saying he got him on. Do we have him on now?
Did you hang up on me because I made fun of Alabama?
No, I didn't hear you say anything about Alabama.
No, you were talking about Josh Heupel, man. It's like the secret Tennessee Mafia took you out.
They didn't want you to tell us the plan of this bye week.
Like no bye week plans coming in.
Yeah, just kind of reiterate what you were talking about
Oh,
there.
so wait, y'all didn't hear me make fun of Alabama whatsoever?
No, not at all.
Y'all didn't hear me say anything about Nick Saban's satanic dance that he does before every single game or anything like that? Like, y'all didn't hear that?
You must have been muted by the government. They don't want you talking bad about our golden child.
You guys didn't hear about the candles and stuff that they lower the lights and everything? Like, y'all didn't hear any of that stuff that I said about Nick Saban. I was giving his deepest, darkest secrets away. Like, y'all didn't hear that.
There's
like,
a reason.
No, there is, because Nick Saban didn't sell his soul to the devil to try to win all these national championships. He sold his height. When he first got to Alabama, he was 6'6", guys. With every national championship, he loses an inch.
He's getting older.
You guys didn't realize this.
It comes with age.
Okay? Y'all didn't hear any of that.
No, I didn't hear any of that. Tennessee versus Texas A&M, Tennessee versus Alabama. Previewed again, kind of just trying to stay away from the Nick Saban talk.
Okay, well, again, I'm just trying to stay away from Nick Saban like you're starting to see Jalen Milroe try to stay away from a second choice because he can't make one.
My second choice is run the ball. Well, actually, his first choice is run the ball. Second choice is pass the ball. Go on.
No. First choice is run the ball. Second choice is, okay, if I do run the ball, where can I run the ball in a different direction to give me a better chance to run the football? Okay?
At least his second choice isn't throw an interception.
No, that's not a second choice. That's exact. But see, just like everything else, just like a bad relationship, man, you continue to do the same thing, it's going to continue to happen, and that's what Jalen Milroe does. Like, it's just he's not a good quarterback.
We're talking about Tennessee right here.
I know you asked me about the game plan about Alabama in about 3 weeks. Did you not?
About the setup that is Texas A&M and then Alabama, two of the best teams currently in the West.
Make Jalen Milroe do what my wife hates to do, and that's make a decision.
Okay, yeah.
Just don't. Every guy knows that a woman cannot make a decision, especially when you ask her to go to a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Make Jalen Milroe make a decision on trying to go to somebody else except for his first option. That's what you do, okay? With Texas A&M, who's going to be my quarterback? Like, that's my question, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to be my quarterback? And this is what I was saying when you hung up on me and Lord Nick Saban got mad at me for all the secrets I was sharing. Okay, who is going to be his quarterback? Is it going to be Max Johnson or is it going to be Connor Wigman?
Max Johnson.
I need to know this. Because that's the only reason I'm asking, because the health of Max Johnson in this, he was kind of good against Auburn, but it's because Auburn didn't prepare for him.
Yeah.
Like, just didn't. They weren't prepared for Max Johnson. When he came in, it was like, oh, wait a second, what? And that's where you look at the Max Johnson part of this when it comes to him being a quarterback. Yeah. I need to know at who's it going to be. Like, Arkansas was the exact same way. Like, Max Johnson comes in and he runs the football, but that's not exactly what you're really wanting him to do at a quarterback position, is it?
No, not really.
Like, he did throw for 200 yards. But now he still has to play Alabama this weekend.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see.
What's he going to do?
Yeah. Max Johnson is going to be that quarterback, though, against that Tennessee team as well.
Did I totally miss that, like, Wigman's injured? Did I totally miss that part?
No, yeah. No, I mean, he's out of the season. He's out for the season.
Okay, see, I knew he got injured, but I don't think I ever saw what the final conclusion was on that. So, all right, it's Max Johnson. Yeah, then Texas A&M screwed.
There you go. Well, I mean, we could.
He went against this Alabama team last year. I mean, there's a chance.
2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago, yeah. But there's a chance he could take that experience.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, it's Max Johnson.
You never know.
Are we gonna get the LSU Max Johnson, or are we gonna get a new, refined Max Johnson? That's the interesting thing to see, because I mean, he has had a year and a half to kind of perfect his quarterback craft after leaving LSU. But definitely gonna be interesting to see. Joe, we already went over our time. A lot of that came from you being muted, but it's totally fine. We'll get you on next Friday as well. Talk a lot of fun about some more college and NFL matchups. So, Joe, thank you very much for hopping on. Tell the people where they can find you online and on socials.
Well, you can find me at Joe Hunk if Lord Saban doesn't cut me off before I get my handle out.
Sorry, did
you guys.
Did he say something? I'm just joking, Joe.
No.
Love you too.
No. Love you too. Bye.
Good stuff from Joe Hunk from 104.5 The Zone. We got to hop out of here so we can hop into these stupid underdog picks, guys. When we come back, we're going to break down a lot of these close matchups that you should be watching and you should be calling in. 256-5764
97.7
is the number. That's what's coming up on the Morning Blitz on 97.7. ESPN The Zone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Insulation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do after paint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
Have a drink at the Open Bottle, a copious selection of wine, spirits, and craft beer from around the world. They've got a full bar, wine by the glass, craft cocktails, premium bourbon, 48 specialty beers on tap, and a smart staff with hustle. There's an expansive, comfortable patio with a brand new performance stage and live music every night from local artists like Lamont Landers, Rob Aldridge, and James Irvin. There's space for your next celebration or corporate event. The Open Bottle on Highway 72 near Slaughter Road intersection in Madison.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowery of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Your roof is the first line of defense for your home. Do you have water stains on your ceiling, paint peeling off your walls, shingles missing? It's probably time for you to get your free roof inspection. Locally owned and operated, licensed, and insured, Yellowhammer Roofing is the Yellowhammer State hometown team. Yellowhammer Roofing. Let our family protect what's most important to you, your family. 256-232-1933 or online at yellowhammerroofing.com.
Hello and welcome back in, everybody, to the Morning Blitz. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman, Bailey Lowery.
All right, let's get into these true underdog picks. These crazy underdog picks.
These wacky underdog picks. Why not, Bandy? Well, we got a lot of going on in the SEC, so you guys could definitely look at that. We already got the phones ringing, but LSU versus Missouri is going to be an interesting one. Missouri currently is a 4-point underdog in that matchup. Going down the line, Georgia versus Kentucky, 14.5 points in this game right here. It's definitely going to be an interesting one. And then another one that I really like currently, I don't know if it's going to end up the way that I think, but Arkansas versus Ole Miss, 11.5-point favorites for Ole Miss. It is at Ole Miss, but Arkansas still has a powerful offense that they're going to be able to kind of surprise the Rebels with. So definitely going to be an interesting one there. But Bandy, do we got somebody on the Flow hotline right now?
We got Jason on the line. What's going on, Jason?
Hey, not much. How y'all doing this morning?
Doing pretty good. We got some good high school games to look forward to tonight, and we got some crazy underdog picks we got to be picking toward.
Exactly.
Oh, I am going to give you a underdog pick that's way past the three-point line in basketball. This is coming from the other side of the court.
Okay.
This is going to be the 5-point shot. I'm going to take Maryland and the points against Ohio State this weekend.
Okay. Maryland versus Ohio State. That's going to be a good little matchup.
Yeah, so Maryland there's a 20-point underdog.
Yeah. Are we,
it's time for one of the big dogs to go down.
I honestly like that one. I like the picks that are way over the line, okay? So 20 points is going to be a very interesting one to see, and I think Ohio State's been a pretty solid team this season, but they do show a few cracks, and I think the Terrapins will be able to at least be a little bit competitive against this team. I mean, remember who the quarterback is for this Maryland team.
Yeah, his little brother.
Yes, sir. Talua Tungavaloa, which I think he just broke a record in Maryland history for the most passing yards, I think, for a quarterback, something like that. I think it was over a 5,000 mark or whatever. Good stuff from him though. Good job, Jason. We'll throw you in for that one.
All right, appreciate it.
Good stuff. Jason on the Flow hotline. We're going to call it the Flow hotline whenever you guys do this, because you also get put into the Flow giveaway for a party of 10. Bandy, make sure you write that one down, because my pen over here does not work. It just does not do anything. Either way, looking at a few of these other matchups, Oklahoma at Texas. Right now, Texas is a 5-point favorite, but it's kind of surprising to see. I want to know what this spread would have been if it was in Oklahoma, to see how, this team would be able to face up against this Texas squad. I think the quarterback position is going to be the one standout position for this game. I think Quinn Ewers is going to be able to be the upper or the big dog in this game and be able to take it. But definitely interesting to see that Oklahoma is pretty close behind them. They've had some solid games, but at the same time, they've definitely shown some cracks in that defense of theirs over there in Oklahoma. The Kentucky versus Georgia game, again, guys, Kentucky does have a chance here. All right, this is one of the best teams over in the east of the SEC. Right now, it's a 14.5-point favorite in favor of the Georgia Bulldogs. But another game that I think could definitely get you guys some interesting points, okay? And I don't think this is a possibility at all. I think it's more just disrespect for this Colorado team. But Colorado currently, they are favored in this game against Arizona State, but +4 for Arizona State. So I don't see it happening. I think it's very disrespectful for Deion Sanders' team. Okay, this is a squad that was able to put up, 41 points on USC. I just see this game being an absolute blowout in favor of Colorado, and it's going to be an interesting one to say the least. On top of that, Wake Forest at Clemson, 21-point underdogs Wake Forest is. Against the Clemson team, who, yes, has started to kind of, figure out exactly what they need to do going forward, but has still been a little shaky at times, not only against teams outside of the conference, but also in the ACC. Obviously, they were able to handle Syracuse last week pretty well. But I do think Wake Forest is going to bring a little bit more of a challenge their way. Bandy, have you seen any of these matchups that you're just like, oh, I got to pick this one?
Man, I was thinking it's like if you wanted to go with like a little bit more of a conservative pick, I would have said the Washington State UCLA game, but that is now at a 3 even line instead of a 3.5.
We can do with the 3. We can deal with the 3.
You can do with the 3.
We can do with the 3. So if you guys want to hop in on that,
yeah, if you want to be a little bit more conservative with your pick, you can go with Washington State. I feel like they're actually getting pretty disrespected against UCLA. I mean, you got Cameron Ward, who has not thrown an interception at all this season. They are 4-0, 1-0 in the Pac-12, which, I mean, the Pac-12 has been putting up some pretty dang high-scoring football this season.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
And, I mean, still, like...
I think with this Bruins team with a true freshman quarterback, I don't, even being at home, I think Washington State still takes this relatively easily.
Yeah, and another thing is going back to that Colorado-Arizona State game. Arizona State currently is like 1-4 on the season, and it's still this close of a matchup against a Colorado team that has shown that they can beat the TCU. So they're at least better than a majority of the teams in all of college football. But then seeing how, Arizona State, it's a Pac-12 team. It's going to cause concerns for this team, and it's going to be a close one. But definitely looking at that UCLA-Washington State game, it's going to be interesting to say the least. Bandy, NFL scores right now. We got a few of them that are actually over the line. Steelers versus the Ravens. Right now, the Steelers are a 4-point underdog. You can also get in on those NFL games as well. Jaguars currently are 5.5-point underdogs against the Bills. The Falcons are this one you can't do. That one you just can't do it. But I know which one you can do. The Panthers versus the Lions, guys. Bryce Young, look at it. He's wanting that first win. Is he back in? I think he's back in, right?
Yeah, he's back in.
Yeah, he came back last week. But Bryce Young going to Detroit to play up against his Lions. Currently 10-point underdogs, the Panthers are. It's going to be an interesting one over there in Detroit. Then we got the Dolphins versus the Giants. I know we're going to have some believers out there, okay? Dolphins are probably going to put up 50 on this Giants team. But at the same time, we don't know which Daniel Jones we're going to get. We might get a pretty solid offense, okay? They need to be able to, take advantage of their amazing wide receivers that they have, Jalen Hyatt, and just chuck the ball downfield. Don't be scared. You don't have a running back currently, so definitely just try and toss the ball around. Why not? Right now, the Giants are a 12-point underdog in that game, and the over-under is 47.5. So just imagine, do the math on that one. It'll be quite an interesting matchup, to say the least. Cardinals currently are a 3-point underdog against the Bengals. I personally like the Cardinals in this one. I just do not trust that the offense of the Bengals. And yes, they have been competitive in their games against the Steelers, in their games, in their last 3 games outside of the Tennessee game, because they just fell apart in that one. But definitely a game to look at over there in Arizona. But we got to hop into a break. When we come back, you guys can still hop in 256-5764
97.7
and get in your stupid underdog picks, wacky underdog picks, or interesting underdog picks, whatever you guys want to say. That's what's coming up here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping experience for Alabama and Auburn fans. Located right here in Huntsville, come shop the best selection of officially licensed apparel, accessory, and gifts. Alumni Hall has the newest products from Nike, Under Armour, Yeti, New Era, Champion, Columbia, Southern Tide, Peter Millar, and more. And you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in the Bridge Street Shopping Center, or shop anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where fans shop. Look the part. Go to Alumni Hall.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate, or you're buying it, or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our commercial closing division, and we approach your real estate needs very seriously. We seek to be the premier real estate closing company in North Alabama, and we do it in such a way it shows that we're experienced, we're for your success. We like to handle your real estate needs the same way Coach Dan Reeves used to say, never let them see you sweat. And that's going to be to your benefit, too, when you visit us at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. Our website online is jacobtitle.com.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have the state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you don't have to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hello and welcome back in, everybody. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman, Bailey, Lowery. Make sure you guys hop in. 256-5764
97.7
is the number to call in. And this show has been presented by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com to fill out your free quote today. And remember that Fleming always shows up. We've had a very fun episode. Of course, it's a Friday. We've had Joe Hunk. We had Drew DeArmond. Both of those guys bringing their expertise to the show, and I love it to have those guys on every single week. For Drew, it's almost every single day, and I gotta say, I feel like we're a little spoiled with that one. But stupid underdog picks are what we were looking at, guys, and you can still call in. Maryland and Ohio State has currently been the wackiest of those underdog picks. Jason called in and said Maryland was going to get the dub. If he does get the dub, if Maryland does win, which is a 5-0 team, okay, and they're going up against the 4-0 team in Ohio State, they're coming off of a bye week. It's going to be interesting. He will get 20 points towards the end goal, which is going to be a very, very nice prize at Gunner's Landing. So definitely, guys, check out that and hop in on the show to join and give us your picks. But Bandy, people will find out which games they want to look at. You got Nebraska, Illinois, over in the Big Ten. There's quite a bit of underdogs you could really throw out. Rutgers versus Wisconsin's definitely an interesting one because that is a 4-1 team going up against a 3-1 Wisconsin squad. And right now the line is 13 points in favor of Wisconsin. On top of that, Michigan versus Minnesota. It is a plethora of stuff outside of the SEC that we can definitely look at, Bandy.
Yeah, I mean, you even got the NFL too. If you want to be like a little bit safer. I mean, You got the Ravens and Steelers, with the Steelers being a 4-point underdog. Eagles and Rams, with the Rams being a 4-point underdog as well.
Yeah, anything can happen over in the NFL, okay? All of those guys are just as good as everybody else, all right? Some of those teams are just a little stacked. I'm looking at those Eagles, though. But definitely some interesting stuff. On top of that, Marshall versus NC State over in the ACC. It's a 6.5-point underdog, Marshall is. And then also Boston College versus Army. Guys, we do a lot of Army football on this station, all right? We used to even have the Crawdad hop on the show back when we did the afternoon Blitz. But right now, our Army is a 3-point favorite against Boston College, a team that has honestly been very underwhelming, even though they almost won against the Florida State team that obviously sits atop of all of college football. Not all of them, but most of them. So definitely interesting one there. And then another one I wanted to look at was that Clemson-Wake Forest game, because Clemson is going up against a good Wake Forest team. 21-point spread right there, so definitely big points to be had right there. Bandy, real quick before we get out of here, though, have you ever watched your free TV on, like, your smart TV or anything like that?
I've tried.
Yeah.
Didn't really get anywhere, though.
No, you don't really. And I feel like I kind of equate it to interdimensional TV on Rick and Morty, where it's just like random television all over the place.
I got a lot of British TV.
Yeah, you get a lot of British TV. I found the channels, though, okay? There is a Big Ten channel that plays a bunch of replays of Big Ten games. And there's also an NFL channel, and I've learned everything. I've learned everything about the history of the 49ers versus Cowboys, which, by the way, 19-19 with one tie in that series. Guys, this is the best rivalry in all of football. And it's going down this week. We're going to see who's going to take the upper hand. Is it going to be Brock Purdy and the 49ers, or is it going to be Dak Prescott and this Cowboys team who has been solid but has shown some cracks throughout the season? Going to be very interesting to see. Too bad neither of them have Charles Haley, the man that won 5 Super Bowls with both of these teams going back and forth. Crazy to see. I didn't get to see it. I wasn't born. Either way, for me and the Bandiman, make sure you guys check us out later tonight. We got high school football on the HSSN. It's going to be a fun night, Bandy. Hopefully the rain holds off until the weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday for the Morning Blitz. Boop.
The End Zone Sports Bar has done it again. This time, they're bringing their jumbo wings, handcrafted burgers, Tex-Mex, and New York-style pizza to the Midtown